Aaron Ask America.
Welcome to Aaron Ask America. This is a momentous episode. It is episode 20. So, of course, on the big momentous episode, I want to have the very first guest I ever had on here, the most beautiful woman that I have ever and will ever interview, my hot and sexy wife. Hey, Kissy Renee.
Hello.
Welcome back to the podcast. Can you believe we're at episode 20?
Nope.
Did you ever think that when you agreed to do this, we would be here at episode 20?
I mean, yeah, but I didn't necessarily think that I would be back talking
Oh,
for episode 20.
well, do you want to quit? Should we stop?
No, it's fine.
So the first question I have for you, then the first time we spoke, we kind of talked about the origin story of our marriage and talked about how our marriage works and stuff like that. But the main question that the internet, people have been emailing, texting, tweeting, the whole entire internet's been asking me to ask you is, how in the world did a classy woman like you get connected to a piece of crap like me?
You're funny
Yes.
and you're nice and you treated me well, which I wasn't really used to in past relationships.
Yeah. So would you say that I was the best relationship you ever had?
Yes. I also watched way more TV and movies in our year of dating than I had in my whole entire life.
Out of all the movies we've watched together, and there have been many, what is your favorite?
I don't even know, actually. Because you took me to a lot of movies that I didn't really like. Like some of the ones that we saw, was it in Dallas?
Yeah, at the Inwood Theater.
Yeah. Like there was that war movie, which I didn't really care about.
Full Metal Jacket?
Yes, because that's not my thing.
Yeah. This kid, he's over here chomping as loud as he can. Oh my gosh.
I guess maybe because it's one of the main things I can think about is I would have never watched the Lord of the Rings movies
Yeah.
if it wasn't for you. And because we went on a date to see the third one,
Yeah, Return of the King.
I watched the two. Did I watch both of them with you? Or were we going to go see it, so I watched it with my roommate? I don't remember.
You probably watched both of them with your roommate. I don't know.
I just know that I hadn't seen them, so I watched them before we were going to go see the third one.
Okay, so
So maybe you inspired
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, but maybe we didn't watch them together.
Maybe you're like, this guy's a keeper, so I got to make him think I'm a nerd too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember because that particular date is famous amongst you and I.
Yes.
But like, I didn't
can't
know.
think of any other movies because
I was thinking you were going to say Twilight because at a certain point we sat down and watched Twilight. all
no,
of them
that
together.
was my favorite because we were still going and walking every day,
Yeah.
and we would talk about it because I had read the books too. So you were like, "Is that how it was in the books?
Yeah.
Like, why would anybody root for a stalker?"
Yeah, because you would hardcore stare at her, and I'm like, this guy's like 200 or 300 years old.
He's a
and
creep.
He's creeping on this girl.
But in the books, you love him, and
What was the big difference between him in the books and him in the movies?
maybe the way that the author wrote it, it seemed more romantic instead of like stalker creepy-ish like it was in the movies. And I know some people love the movies. I personally don't.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of one of those things where, because I love those books. Like, I'm not even embarrassed to admit it. There was a job that I had that me and the three girls, well, actually, there were three
And
of us,
James.
counting me
And
and
James.
James. I think James is actually the one who told me that they were good, but we were so slow that all we did was read the Twilight books at work. And I've read them more than once.
So did she write from the perspective of Edward so you knew it wasn't Stalker or no? Or was it just like a an overarching where it's like, and then Edward said, and then she said.
I think it was like that, but
Okay.
it's honestly been a while since I've read them, so I don't remember. I
Yeah.
actually can't wait, and people can judge me when Elise can read them
Oh,
because I love them.
she's already asked to watch them, and other than one specific scene.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, it's not scary.
Right.
I mean, the books aren't scary.
Yeah.
There are scary circumstances, but it's not like horror.
Well, do they go into detail on their honeymoon? Because as far as the movies go, that's the only scene that I could think of.
I mean, I
From the
think
movies.
they describe like the bed breaking and all
Mm.
that stuff, but I don't think it goes into. I don't know. I could be lying. It's
Yeah.
been a long time since
Yeah.
I read them. But I do remember reading the books. I think I read them through like 3 times
Yeah.
because it's like easy read. They're thick, but the print's bigger.
Yeah. So it's like a 300-page book, but it's like actually like 150 normal size. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. So I will move on from Twilight.
I could talk about it all day.
I don't want this to be a Twilight podcast. So growing up, because we didn't talk anything about you, we talked about us last time. So we're going to try and keep it about you without me. We're going to go, instead of BC before Christy, we're going to go BA
Before Aaron.
or BU before Earn. So growing up, I know a pretty good chunk because we've been married for 20 years. We talked about it, but like, what is kind of like the first like memory like that you have that you can think back to where you're just like, oh yeah, that is one of those core memories that I'll never forget.
I think probably my favorite memory from childhood was my aunt and my grandma and my mom would go to Bally's to like, I don't know, sit in the pool or sit in the hot tub. I don't know what they did when they went. So I would stay with my grandpa, and who nobody knows, but he's like a gospel singer and musician, and he was an evangelist or whatever. But I had learned a song with my mom, so when they left, I sat on his lap and I sang to him, and he cried. And it was just a really sweet moment. And then from there, we actually have a cassette tape of the first time I sang in front of a church, and you can hear him talking and like telling that story, and then, like standing me on a chair because I was like 4 or 5 years old the first time I sang in front of a church. So
Nice.
that was like one of the sweetest memories that I can think of.
Yeah.
And I was pretty little. I mean, 4 or 5, so that's pretty far back. I don't
yeah.
know that I remember anything before
Yeah,
that.
and one of the things that I've said this to you in front of your parents and stuff like that, like not meeting Ike is like something that is something I was like, I wish I could have met the guy, but
Yeah, and it's one of those things when you're older. Like, I loved my grandpa, and I spent a lot of time with him and my grandma because obviously he wasn't traveling as much then as he did like when my mom was a kid. But I just wish I would have asked him so many more questions.
Yeah.
Because I think he was a cook in the army. Like, there was just all these things, and I want to say that there were like close encounters, like with Elvis, and I would just love to hear about all these places that he went and these people that maybe, I mean, obviously Elvis has, stood the test of time or whatever, but, like older celebrities that he probably ran into.
yeah. So do you think that your mom's love for Elvis probably stems from your grandpa's interactions?
Maybe, but I think that my grandpa would have loved for Elvis to have recorded one of his songs. And I don't know that he had an opportunity, or if he did, I don't know that he took it. And maybe that's why she's like, Elvis could have been her husband. Maybe if if my grandpa would have pushed to have him, because Elvis loved gospel music, and my grandpa wrote a lot of really good songs, so it would have been cool. But
So I, of course, know you as a worship leader, a lover of music and all that. So I also knew about the story that you just told. So like, as you progress from like 4 years old to like later on, do you still continue singing in front of the church with your grandpa, or was it just that one time?
I want to say that we had many opportunities. Like, I never sang with him, but like my aunt sang, I mean, my uncle, my other aunt, like it's just a singing family
Yeah.
for the most part. But I remember us going to churches with him that were local where at that point when I was super little, I wouldn't sing without my mom. So my mom and I would sing and like my aunt would sing and maybe my mom would sing by herself. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So whenever we got married and I realized that like everybody had a musical talent except for me and maybe your brother, did your brother play an instrument or do anything?
He didn't really when we were growing up, but I want to say, like, as an adult, I don't know if he picked up the bass or something, but I don't know that it's like a passion of his.
Yeah, well,
Of
the way I
anything.
look at it is like your dad plays a guitar, your mom sings, you sing,
Mm-hmm.
your aunt sing, your uncle sing, your cousin sings, Dexter sings, Brett sings, Elise sings, and I'm just over here like, I can record it
You
for
want to
you.
know what's funny? Is my dream was to marry someone who played guitar so we could be a musical duo.
All right, bring it to me. Bring it to me. After 20 years, I finally hear she wanted a singing family. So I don't know how to read music, but I guess I can start learning how to play. I'll do that for you.
Which you know, Barry and Michelle, because you've met them. They're people I met at a previous church in the past that are these awesome songwriters, singer, musicians, and that's I grew up with like them and this other couple. For some reason, I can't think of their names. Robin and Ben, and they had a band called 100 Portraits, and they went to the church youth group, and they were like part of it. So those were husband and wives, and I was like, that would be so cool to grow up and be them or have something
And
like
you,
that.
And you married a guy that was
know.
not about worship
You're like, I'm
music.
good at video games and technology.
And I love you forever. I love you forever. But yeah, so I recently, as you know, have been really getting into worship music. So like for the first 19 years of our marriage, like I could take it or leave it. I
Yeah.
mean, there have been times like Jeremy Camp got me into it a little bit, and
I
then,
think Gilmore helped.
yeah,
a lot.
I think he helped out a lot too. Our friendship helped out with that, and then it was just preparing me for Stephen McWhirter. I think that's what it was. So okay, so let's say I dedicate the next year to learn how to play the guitar. I learn how to play the guitar. What's the next step for us?
For one, I will love you more than I ever have because you'll be my dream guy.
All right. So over the next 12 months, I'll lose 120 pounds and I'll learn to play the guitar and I'll be the perfect husband.
Yes, then I'll be happier than I've ever been. No, if you did truly do that, then I think it'd be really cool to like write music, whether we do anything with it or not, or if we had like a streaming show where we shared our music, or if we had a TikTok where we shared our music, since social media seems to be the way that
Yeah.
you get stuff out nowadays. Something like that would be super cool. So, because I love writing, and I just recently started doing it more consistently again.
Yeah.
So, it's always been a passion. But the thing about stuff like that is you get so busy, and then you're like, I don't know. And for me, like something really sad will happen, or like recently, like Elise was going through, some struggles with fear and stuff. And for whatever reason, like I kind of went to bed with things running through my head. And then I took my lunch break and just wrote. And the past few things that I've shared have been like lunch break, like didn't even take all day. It kind of just
Float
poured
of
out.
you. So would you be disappointed if I didn't sing?
No, because you could just be my guitar player. And then I wouldn't have to carry a keyboard everywhere because you would have your guitar and I'd be like, give me the key of G. And then you'd start playing. And
Would our band name be Kissy Earn? Or Earn Kiss? I guess it'd be Kissy since you're the singer. Would it be Kissy Earn?
yeah, I guess. I don't really like that. But
Oh, would it be A and C, C and A,
something like that would be something like that.
C and A with the kids?
Yeah.
And would have to stand in the background and just go.
I mean, you know, there are bands where they just
Stand
their
there.
job is to be the drummer
Yeah.
or their job is to be the guitar player.
We have enough kids. We can form our own band if we wanted to.
I want one of our kids to play an instrument, at least one of them.
What if Dexter learned the drums? What would be easier, learning the drums or playing the guitar?
I honestly don't know because I think that they're both hard.
Yeah.
I think that the drums are super cool, but it's just, I don't know, it's a lot of coordination to, I don't know. I've never tried, but it just seems really hard. And guitar is hard because I have tried it, and
Yeah.
it hurts your fingers.
So what about, so Dexter learns the drums, I learn the guitar, Elise learns like the ukulele
The
or
tambourine.
the bass. Oh, the
I'm
tambourine.
just kidding.
Wait a minute, would you be happy if I learned the tambourine?
The harmonica. No, I mean, Elise would love to learn to play the ukulele. The problem with that, and I love the ukulele, I think it's so cute and it's just a fun sound, but I don't know, I think it would be one of those things where it'd be like hard to mic it. And it's just kind of, I don't know, to me, it's kind of an instrument that stands alone as opposed to like a keyboard or a guitar or like a bass. Like, and even with drums, some of those couples that I grew up listening to, they would like one of them, the wife was the percussionist, and sometimes she would just have those little like bongos or a djembe and not even a full drum set.
Didn't you play those at Crosspoint?
I played around on them, but
Yeah.
I mean, I can't.
Okay.
I'm not, I mean,
'Cause I could
no.
have swore I remember you even during.
Oh,
the
I
service.
pretended.
Oh.
Not during service, though,
Okay.
because I was most of the time on the keyboard.
Yeah.
Once I realized that I could still play the keyboard.
All right. I'm taking.
You've got a new task.
I'm taking the torch from Charlie Kirk and saying, "How can I serve you today better?" And you told me that I need to
Learn an instrument.
I need to learn. I need to do something that I've never done before. Whenever I was younger, middle school? Not middle school. Intermediate, which is 5th and 6th grade. I was in choir.
Yeah.
It was just choir, and I didn't do any solos or anything.
Yeah.
So I think that's, if I remember correctly.
Well, I would say even in high school, I wasn't, I mean, I have, sung in church since I was little, but it's not like my choir teachers were like, oh my gosh, Christy, we're blown away by your talent. I was not that student. My claim to fame was having brain surgery in high school. So, you kind of remember when one of your students
Yeah.
is gone because she had brain surgery. So,
You had brain surgery, and then you got in a car wreck, and then I dated you, and now we're married.
yep. That's why I
So-
didn't marry a musician.
Maybe at the time you thought I was a musician.
Maybe.
Because I sat on the computer like, oh, he's probably playing music. No. So, did you want to talk about the brain surgery at all? Like, how did that come about?
I
Or
mean,
do you wanna-
I can. It's not like, I mean, it was traumatizing at the time, obviously,
Yeah,
but it
'cause-
doesn't, it's not like PTSD or anything with it. But
It started with Six Flags, right? Or no?
it did start with Six Flags. It was a day at Six Flags where it was super cold, so there was nobody there. And so we rode. It was one of those days where if you wanted to ride the ride again, you could just sit there. And so I don't think the cliffhanger's even there anymore, but we sat on that, the drop, a couple times, which is not the smartest thing. Like, I would probably have the worst neck and back pain if I did that now. And then we rode the Texas Giant a couple times, which I've always hated that ride, but my friend wanted to ride it. So I was like, okay, we probably rode that a couple times. And after that, I kind of got a headache that just didn't go away. And so I had braces at the time. So we, were like, are her braces maybe too tight? And then the orthodontist was like, no. I could, you could see a headache for a day, but not consistently. And then, I went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and they didn't find anything wrong. And then the scariest part was we had a dog then. I'm trying to remember which one it was. It was either Heidi or Muff. And the dog was doing that thing where they kind of like chew, not bite, but just kind of chew on my leg. And I started crying because I couldn't feel it. So like one side of my body had gone numb. And so I don't know what happened or how it progressed. I don't remember going to the emergency room or anything, but I think we went to my pediatrician, who I loved, and his name was Dr. McGee. And he, for whatever reason, is like, we're going to do an MRI. And as soon as they saw my MRI, they saw I had fluid on my brain. And so I went to a neurologist and, right away schedule a surgery where they drilled a hole in my skull. And supposedly, I don't know, my mom tells me this, that the doctor said that the fluid kind of shot out for like 3 minutes straight.
Well, how long was it between Six Flags and that moment where
It
the
was-
doctor's surgery?
It was probably a couple months because it just took a long time, and I missed a lot of school because my head was constantly hurting. But the funny thing is, well, it's not funny, but I went to school and I had the most awesome English teacher. Her name was Miss Clark, and she was this like tiny little old lady, such a fun teacher. And I had her my sophomore and my senior year. And my sophomore year, which is when all this happened, I was crying in her class because my head hurt so bad. So she's like, I'm going to put this, and this on my desk, and I'm going to turn around. It was medicine.
Yeah.
It was like a Tylenol PM, a Midol. I mean, it was just a couple of things. And she goes, and I'm going to turn around, and I'm not going to know where it went. And I took them, and then I was gone from school for like 6 weeks. So when I came back, even though obviously she knew, she was like, I thought I killed you because you were here and then you weren't. But anyway, so I had this first surgery. When I woke up from the surgery, I kind of knew. I felt better because obviously pressure was released.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel as good as I thought I would or should. And so they released me from the hospital. And then I think a week later, I had a follow-up appointment, and they did another MRI, and they called my mom while we were in the waiting room and told us not to leave the hospital and that I needed to have another surgery.
Like right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. So that one was the one that they added the shunt. And after that surgery, because the first one, I was like, I'm going to feel better. Let's do this. Like, I wasn't scared at all. Maybe a little bit, but still looking forward to feeling better. And after the second surgery, I think the nurse or somebody caught one of my parents in the parking garage and was like, if she doesn't start eating, like, she's not ever going to get out of the hospital. Because I was just so angry. Like, more of my head had been shaved. I was a sophomore, it's just, your hair is like your whole personality when you're a girl. And I was just really depressed and sad about that. I didn't want to see any of my friends, even though, I have awesome friends, so they came and saw me anyway, but I didn't want them to see me with my head, half of my head shaved, because, because the doctor's like, the first surgery, you understand it, and it's even more than you expected. But when they tell you the second one, they're not going to shave hardly any, and then like half of your head is shaved on one side, it's just traumatizing. But so I don't even remember how long I went after that surgery, but I went back. Maybe I was still having headaches, and they did end up scheduling me a third surgery, and that one would have been more risky, because it would actually be like, I don't know, messing with my brain or whatever. But I called my cousin, because have always been really close, and I told her, I'm going to have another surgery. And she told me on the phone, she's like, no, you're not. I was like, yes, I am. That's what the doctor said. She's like, no, we're not. And so after she told me that, I told my dad, no, I wasn't. And he got so mad at me. You will have this surgery, blah, blah, which I get it.
Right. You're the baby girl.
Yeah. And so I don't know if it was that night or if it was the next night, but it was basically 2 days before the surgery was scheduled, or the night before. And I was going to go to my neurologist one more time before we did it. And I don't remember I'm sad to say it, but I don't remember who all came over. I can think of some friends that probably did at that point, but I know it was summer, like Crystal and Charity maybe, that came over, and we had been praying all the way through it. And not that I think there's a wrong way to pray, but when we were initially praying, it was like, guide the doctor's hand, speedy recovery, blah, blah, blah. But, and pretty much that with the first and second surgery. But with this one, it was like, no, like we're going to bring everybody over here and we're going to pray and believe for a miracle and that we won't have to do this third surgery. And so we did that. I'm sure there were lots of tears because that's how we are. And I went to the neurologist and they were surprised that I was even able to walk. And they looked at the new MRI and the fluid had gone down, and I haven't had to have it since. We obviously, if you've known, we've had some scares over the years. When you have a tube in your head, that's like the conclusion they jump to every time I have a headache. And honestly, my brain tends to go there if I get a really bad headache and it doesn't go away right away. It's like, oh crap, am I going to have to finally have that surgery? But yeah, I mean, overall, I would say I've been fine since then.
Did they tell you that when they were scheduling the third surgery, were they saying that the stuff wasn't dripping down the tube?
The shunt just basically wasn't cutting it. So
like the brain was producing more fluid than
that could even keep up with.
Interesting.
So
yeah, I've heard that story and praise God for the answer and the fixing.
Yeah.
Because
and again, I don't think that there's a wrong way to pray, but in that instance, it says in the Bible, have not because you ask not, and we had never really asked for a miracle. We just were like, okay, this has to be done. We're going to guide the doctor's hand. But in that instance, I was like, I don't want more of my head shaved. It wasn't even that. I was just scared because it would have been a lot bigger, scarier surgery. But yeah, I've been, pretty much okay ever since, other than complicated migraines and all the other random ailments that tend to pop up. But overall, I haven't had, I won't say that because some of the migraines I've had were super scary too, but nothing compared to.
Because at a certain point during our marriage, you were on some sort of medicine and you went from this amazing, beautiful, just super passive, amazing woman to like this vicious
monster.
Monster.
I do have
still hot, still sexy, but angry.
I do have a funny story about that though, and I think you know this because I've probably told you. It'd be weird if I didn't. But one of my closest friends, Sheila, she's very chatty. Like she has friends everywhere we go. She's just that person.
Yeah.
And we met at Starbucks, honestly, we still do to this day. And she always knew the workers. And in my normal Christi brain, it would annoy me if she talked to them for too long. And I'm like, why am I even here? And, but I would never say anything because I was like, she'll eventually stop talking to them and spend time with me, jealous friend.
That's
geez.
What she's there for, right?
But that particular day when I had started taking the migraine medicine, I don't remember what I was doing. I was probably playing on my phone. And she turned around and she kind of looked at me like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I didn't know when you were going to stop talking. And I just said that to her. And we still laugh at it to this day because she thought it was hilarious because she's pretty blunt. Mm-hmm. But that is not my personality at all.
I know. I lived it.
But it was just, she was like, whoa, tell me what you really think, Christy. So at that point, people would have asked me questions and I wouldn't have been able to lie. It was almost like...
It was like liar, liar.
Yeah, I couldn't, and I hated it. I even told my neurologist, I said, this is totally changing my personality and being mean to my husband, and he laughed. He thought it was funny. And guess what? I went off those medications cold turkey and I never took them again. It was changing my whole personality and I couldn't control it. It was weird and scary.
I know, trust me. I know. I lived through it. I don't remember the timeline of how long you actually took it.
I don't either.
I just remembered that my wife had changed.
It was a slow turn or a quick one. I don't know.
I just know that one day you were sweet and kind, and the next day you had horns and there was fire
I was
everywhere.
angry. I was burning everything down.
But yeah, that was definitely an interesting time in our marriage when you were taking that.
I'm just very grateful that it worked itself out.
Me too. Because I didn't marry that.
We might not still be married if I was still acting that way.
I just would be more in my room a lot more.
Hiding
all the
from
time.
me.
But yeah, that was an interesting time for sure. But back to one of the things that you had mentioned is when you said that they shaved your head. I'm trying to envision it. Is it like the way that the girls are shaving their heads now, where like you have like
You know what? Now that I think about it, that probably is because the cool thing is my aunt and uncle have always been like hairstylists or, cut hair. Obviously, you knew that. They just might not know that, so I had to say it. But so after that, and there was a pretty good chunk of my hair gone, like my aunt cut my hair parted. So it was able to cover it completely. So it would be exactly like that. Like I had that haircut
before it was cool.
And it was like awful for me. But I remember one friend in particular thought it was the coolest thing. And so my hair would be all pretty like this, or the wind would blow, which would suck for me. But she would be like, look. And she would flip my hair over to the other side, and it obviously was shaved underneath. And I remember at a certain point, once my hair had grown quite a bit underneath, we like cut my hair to even it all out. And I cried.
Because it was short?
It was short. You've seen those pictures.
Yeah, but like, I guess why did they have to cut it to even it out? Why not wait for the hair to catch up?
I mean, it probably would have eventually, but it would have been a very slow process.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why. And again, it's not like I shaved my whole head, but as I was saying earlier today, like my hair used to be like so straight, so fine. You couldn't do anything with it. It was just straight as a board. And then like after that period in my life, my hair suddenly got thick and wavy.
Yeah.
And maybe it was because we did just chop it all off and it just had to grow out again.
Yeah.
And that's what changed the...
when you go through surgery, there's always trauma to the body, maybe
Yeah.
extra dead cells.
In my case, I mean, it helped my hair.
Yeah.
It's like thick and I can wear it curly, I can wear it straight. So it's just weird how that happened. But it might have... I'm just glad that like half of it isn't curly and the other half is still straight as a board.
So you mentioned that your cousin and you, and I already know this, but I'm just saying it for the podcast, that you and your cousin were like the best of friends, right? So is there a story that you could tell that won't get anybody in trouble that kind of nobody knows about?
I don't know. I think that even my uncle and aunt probably eventually heard this story. Maybe they haven't. I don't know. Either way, it's funny. Summer had this car. It was an old car. And she would always have to, I guess it was the radiator. She would always have to take the radiator cap off and like put water in it or whatever because her car would overheat. And there was this one time where she did that, and I guess she didn't wait long enough, so it exploded and like burned her.
Yeah.
So I think we were at my parents' house, so she ran and she's just ripping her clothes off to get in the shower and like wash off her body. And I could be getting stories mixed up, possibly, but I think this is all in that time frame where she was burned. So we had plans, and so she let me drive her car. I think I had a license then. It wasn't. Yeah, I had a license, but I wasn't a very good driver. And so we were in this neighborhood and I hit a truck because she was like, go, 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 go. So I hit the gas and I backed up really fast and I hit this truck and we just drove off.
Statute of limitation. You know what? That was a funny story. It's not real. It's not real.
I mean, I want to say that we did, like...
Y'all checked to see if the bumper...
We checked, and it didn't seem like there was any damage. So in my head, we probably hit it so hard but she just stressed me out. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then I rammed into a car.
So I have a similar story with the radiator not hitting people and driving away, but my Volvo, the one that I grew up with that my dad gave me, so I didn't know, right? Because you just don't know until it's blowing up in your face, right? So I kept seeing like, you have that meter that's always in the middle unless it starts going over to hot. I started seeing it go over to hot. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I forget, it could have been Daniel, Dave. Someone said you probably need to put water in like the radiator. I was like, oh, okay. So we pull up to Park Glen because it was Park Glen at the time. Pop the hood, and I go get like water out of a cup or whatever, and then I just turn it, and like it doesn't immediately do anything. I turn it, and then like right as I'm pouring water, it just starts going. It just starts shooting.
Hers
up
was like a volcano.
Yeah, yeah. It just keeps shooting water. I'm like, what is going on? And then I don't know, like dad came out or pastor came out. And like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just took the cap off the thing. It's like you never take the cap off of a hot radiator. You let it cool down, and then you put coolant in. I was like, oh, that makes sense. But I didn't get burned. But I'll never forget that just because like it just started stinking. Just
Yeah, Summer and I had a lot of fun in that particular car though, because I don't remember if the heater and AC didn't work or if it was just the heater. So we would drive around with like blankets because it was so cold in her car in the wintertime.
yeah, the Volvo was a 1985 whatever, and the AC didn't work. The seats were leather. It's Texas, so anytime I drove anywhere, our backs were always sweaty. They were always covered in sweat, no matter what. I went from about April till October, always sweaty, and but the seat warmers worked and the heater worked, but like the AC never worked in that car. And all of the movies, because at one point I wanted to be a movie writer, right? Every single movie that I wrote had a 1985 Volvo that got destroyed in it because as much as I was appreciative of that car, it cost me so much money because it was an import, and I was driving an import, which I thought was hilarious because like the way my dad operated was when he would buy a car, like he would give my mom the car that he bought, he would take her car, and they either had traded in the other car or they gave it to Jer or me, and he had taken mom's car and then gave me his Volvo, and that was the wildest stupid car ever. I hate it so much.
Yeah. My first car was a Chevrolet Beretta. And it was white, and it was two-door, of course. And I looked very awesome because I was at O'Reilly's all the time. But I knew what to do with that stupid car.
Why were you at O'Reilly's all the time?
It was always leaking something and breaking down in the middle of the road. I mean, it was just, and I remember one time I was driving in our neighborhood and someone just backed right out of their driveway into my passenger door, and the dent was worth more than my car was. So they just paid off my car. I was like, and for the rest of the time I had the car, I just had a giant dent in the passenger side. The door still opened and everything.
Yeah, did you try to do the plunger thing where you tried to plunge it out? Just where you're like, it's a dent.
It's paid off. I don't have to pay for it anymore. I didn't care.
Did you buy that car yourself?
I bought that car working at IHOP with my tips.
Yeah. With your what?
Tips.
Oh, okay. So that's one of the stories that you and I have somewhat like talked about as far as the crossover of our lives, right? Because there probably I can't remember if we've gone over the dates, but there was probably a time where you were working at IHOP where my friends were in there because you worked there at the same time as your friend Charity. So, but you didn't work the night shift, but
I worked until I think it was 10:30
yeah.
is when I got off.
So you were probably leaving as we were coming in, so there was very small crossover because I would have. Well, I mean,
I think it was 2017 that I worked there, maybe 2018.
Yeah, But like,
Either way, I hated that job.
I'm not too narcissist to say, well, you would have remembered us if we would have come in, but there was wild people at IHOP, especially
All
at
the
that
time.
very specific IHOP.
Yeah.
And when I say wild, we weren't, we didn't come in there drunk. We didn't drink. Basically, what would generally happen is the people that drank would start out at Bennigan's next door, and then right about the point where they quit drinking is when we would all move over to IHOP.
Yeah.
And it was just us sitting at a table, just talking about nerd stuff for hours on end. And, with Charity and the Russian waitress.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what her name was, but yeah, I
And
did
then-
work with her.
And then with Charity's dad, the big muscular guy
Yep.
with like the super tight shirts, right? And every single time that we would order a shake, she would get so, not Charity, but the Russian waitress, she would get so mad.
We hated making
She was
shakes.
like, shakes
there.
take time.
They
She would
do.
always say that because, like,
They do.
you would go from Bennigan's where, like, we would go over there and, like, half of us,
I used to hang out there too.
right, so half of the people that I hung out with drank and then the rest of us didn't. So, like, they would order drinks and we would order food. So we would basically kind of go over there for either soda and shakes just to continue the conversation and sober up the people that were drunk. But yeah. So we would go over there. So I'm sure that we somehow crossed paths. Like maybe while you were on your way out, I held the door open for you. And I was like, golly, that chick is hot.
Yeah.
I was like, somebody should date her. Hopefully it's me one day.
Maybe.
But it would be interesting to be able to actually go back and see how many times that we actually crossed paths or came close to cross. Not that I think that we would have seen each other and the fireworks would have went off and stuff like that. I think that our meeting when we did and the way that we actually got to know each other was exactly the way that it needed to be. Because if you would have met me during that time, it probably would have been a big turnoff. Because I was with my friends, and like I'm not that I change who I am around my friends that much, but
You're just a lot more annoying.
yeah, there you go.
Or you used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you grew out of that. But
Yeah.
you,
Well, I mean, you did date me during the end of that phase of my life, so you got a piece of that, but you got to know me while also going through that, rather than your first impression of me was
yeah.
that.
Yeah. True.
So, your adventures with Summer. Mm-hmm. You told me one. Wait, I can't remember. No, I don't want to talk about that one. The one where you couldn't believe you didn't get killed.
Yeah.
So, so like when y'all would go up to Colorado to see your uncle and your aunt, like what kind of, would y'all get in any sort of mischief driving there, or was it just like
Not really. The only thing that I did, which might shock some people that watch this, is when Summer and I went on a road trip to Colorado. It was the most fun because we love the same kind of music. And so to keep ourselves awake, we had water bottles in the car and we would buy a pack of cigarettes and we would just smoke.
that is funny? Yeah.
And the funny part about it too is my aunt and uncle in Colorado smoked. So while we were there, we would just sit in the area and like smoke cigarettes with them.
Yeah.
And for anybody worried, we were old enough to be smoking. We weren't like underage smoking with my aunt and uncle, but and it was never anything that either of us were addicted to. It was just something that if we went out or on a road trip, to keep ourselves awake in the car, like we're like, how about we have some coffee and a cigarette in the morning, or how about let's, to keep ourselves up. Well, and you didn't want to throw your cigarette out the window and start a fire, so we had the water bottle and just would leave a little bit of water and throw them in there.
I mean, like when you say smoke, of course I know that you did, but I sometimes forget that you used to. And that was one of the things that when we got serious, I kind of asked you to stop.
Yeah.
And you did, except for, occasionally or something like that.
It was one of those things that I never did it all the time.
Right.
It was mostly when I would go hang out with friends.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like what we did.
Yeah.
It was kind of the scene and what you do.
Well, the thing is the reason why I bring that up is when I went through like a cigar phase, like I was thinking to myself just now, I was thinking like I asked you to stop, and then like 15 years later,
And cigars to me, and obviously I know people love cigars that hate cigarettes, but like just the smell and how, and again, people who don't smoke, I'm sure feel the same way about
Yeah.
cigarettes. Like for me, the thing was always, if I'm going to be in a place and I'm going to smell like cigarettes anyway, may as well smoke them too.
yeah,
Whereas, with cigars in a cigar bar, there's just something that strong smell, and I feel like it's even hard to get out of your clothes.
yeah,
Like
'cause that was one of the things when I
and
remember,
it smells your car,
Yeah.
and like you don't want to wash any other clothes because
yeah.
you have to wash them a couple of times before they start smelling normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
How dare you make
Yeah,
me
I
stop
know.
smoking? Just kidding. Neither one of us do anything like
Yeah.
that, and it haven't in a really long time.
Yeah, and I think that part of the reason why I started that was the previous pastor.
Yeah.
And we were close, and then that's kind of what the guys were doing. So I want to go out there and hang out with the guys because that was the close group at the time. And once all that kind of came crashing down, I think I met up. I couldn't even tell you the last time that I smoked a cigar.
It's been a long time.
I want to say that the last time, the previous time, not the like last year when Aaron and his family. I think it was the previous time. I think it was me, him, and John met up at the place in Keller, and we smoked a cigar there. And I just got super sick to my
Yep.
stomach, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do this anymore."
Jesus might be telling me to stop.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore. Plus, I think it brought back memories of hanging out with the previous pastor and how all that went down. So I was like, you know what? And plus, of course, whenever I get home, I'd immediately have to take all my clothes and not put them in a Walmart bag, but basically section them off of the rest of the clothes, and then I'd have to take a shower, brush my teeth, take a shower, brush my teeth, and you'd be, don't come to me for 2 days. Don't mess with
Don't
me.
even talk to me.
But it never occurred to me till this very moment that I asked you to stop, and then 15 years later, I'm like, I'm going to the cigar bar.
Yeah, they'll smell great when I
I
get
want
back.
to say that there was one time that we double date where we went to a cigar bar and you
Smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, he smoked cigarettes.
While y'all smoke cigars. Yes.
I thought so. I thought there was that memory.
Yep. A long time ago.
Yeah, in a galaxy far, far away. Mm-hmm. So you graduate the year 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is your first, what is your goal at that point? You graduate high school. You're like, is it time to go find a fat guy that lives down the road from you?
No, I think after I graduated, I really feel like I was in AP classes. I mean, I wasn't like valedictorian or anything like that, but I always called myself a smart, dumb kid. Like I was the dumbest person in the AP classes. But I think I always, even from then, like really wanted to get married and have kids. So like, I thought maybe I want to be a teacher. So I don't think I went to college right away, but maybe I started like the spring semester after I graduated, and I went, to the junior college for a while. And then, I think I just started working, like did random jobs. Like I nannied at a certain point, and I worked at the daycare forever, and I loved it so much. Like it's still probably one of my favorite jobs that I've ever had. And then I know I was going to school online for a little while before I got pregnant with Dexter, and then I stopped obviously when I was close to having him, and I just never went back. And from there, obviously when we met, you got me a job that I made more money than I'd ever made. And then from there, I've just been given all these awesome opportunities to further a career that it sounds awful to say, but that I never really wanted.
Yeah.
But it was just like God blessed me with these jobs, and it was just more money. And then I would, go here, and they would pay me a little bit more than I did at the last one. And it's not like it happened overnight. I mean, it was,
Over 20 years.
over 20 years, basically. Started as a, grunt at the very bottom, not knowing anything about it. And now, at least in what I do, I'm like, I just continuously increase my knowledge. But if anyone told me I was going to have a career in the mortgage industry, I would have been like, and again, I don't hate it, but I'm not passionate about it. And it's just, I'm blessed to work from home, so I'll never complain about that. And
You were working home before it was cool as well.
I was, and it was because it was just, it just shows you how God is in the details, because I drove to, like 30, 45 minutes away from here for a little while, and then I worked with people or a boss that was constantly like, oh, we're not going to work at this company anymore. We're going to work here. So he's like, hey, we need more room in the office. Do you want to just work from home? My boss at that time. And I was like, heck yeah. And then I never had to drive that 30 minutes. And then, of course, the job I'm at now, I had to drive about an hour there and back for a year. And then they switched me over to a department that they all work from home. And then now I've been, I'm back to working from home.
Do you ever miss your office that was at the corner where you could see downtown?
Yes. Even though I was not important enough to have an office like that, at that job, it was just a super nice office.
Yeah.
So if you had an office, even before I got that stupid, gigantic one that had a TV in it that I never used, and I mean, I could have put a bed in there. It was so big. But all the offices had awesome views of downtown. And so I loved it. And I think it's stupid because I will never not want to work from home. But if we ever move, or, when the kids move out, I would love to have an actual office that I can, put my Dwight painting back up and like have my little space for my office, like decorated, instead of kind of how it is right now out in the open.
Yeah.
Because it was so fun to have a plant in the corner and have my painting and have my little office Funko Pops and my little tiny office people. And since then, like, I got the teapot that Jim gave Pam, and, that would be on my desk. And so that was fun. But again, not so much that I would want to work in an office again.
Yeah.
I would want that office to be in my home.
So the Dwight painting, right? So why isn't it right there where the Wicked drawing is?
Because for a long time you had something hanging there,
Yeah,
and I just never.
Do you want me to put it there?
Maybe.
Because right now it's literally on the other side of this wall.
Yeah.
And I turn around, I look at it, and it still makes me smile.
I just remember when I got it, I was like, "Who sent this?" And it was you.
Yeah.
I was like, "That is so nice that these people already know that I love The Office so much."
Yes. Little did you know about what was funny about that is, for the people that are listening to this, I did not want to watch The Office. And Christy and I had an agreement that if I watched The Office, she would watch Game of Thrones. At the time, Game of Thrones, the final season, hadn't played. So I was expecting to watch this phenomenal TV show
All the way through the
all
end.
the way through again, and then casually like The Office. And as we were watching The Office, the final season Game of Thrones comes out. It's awful. It's terrible. And I'm so mad at it. I'm like, you don't even have to fulfill that.
And I was like, yes.
You don't have to watch Game of Thrones with me. And I have been, I think, together, I think we've watched it all the way through, I think, 4 times now. Mm-hmm, if
probably.
not 4, definitely 3.
Yeah.
I just can't remember if there's a 4th one in there. And so in season like 6 or 7, Dwight takes over. And he puts this painting of himself where he's like this. And I was on Etsy, I think, or something.
Probably.
I saw it, and I was like, she's got her own office.
I was a boss.
She was a boss. She was important. So, like, I text Sarah, who who got you the job, and I said,
Yeah.
hey, I would like to send something. I would like to send Christy something. What's the address? Like, I went behind your back, and she told me. had it shipped there, and I kept waiting for you to be like, "What in the world?"
I was asking everybody, I was like, where did this come from? It was so funny, though, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And there's every once in a while in my memories, it'll pop up, and every office I changed to, I was like, yep, it's still here.
Yep. Yeah. So because of your perseverance in wanting me to watch The Office, there is now a painting of Dwight in our house.
I love that show so much.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts so far on the paper?
I hate is a strong word, but I don't like it at all. I think we've maybe laughed 2 or 3 times, maybe one full hand, 5. But I find one of the characters, I just
Esmeralda.
can't stand her.
Yeah.
Period. Like, she's not funny. She's awful. Like, terrible. That whoever wrote that character obviously like didn't want her to be funny, and they wanted us to hate her.
Yeah.
But they thought that she was being funny, but she's not. And then the other like main characters, I'm not invested, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, if we don't finish season 1, I don't care.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Like, we laughed at the Oscar moment from the first episode.
And it's because he's from the first good show,
Right.
and he's still the same person.
And I think you and I laughed at the episode where I don't know any of the characters' names, but the main character.
Ned?
Well, I guess the main character is, or not the main character, but the one we know is Esmeralda. That's just because we don't like her.
Yeah.
But the main character was bragging that he beats kids, and that made us laugh. But like other than that, it's like this dramedy that's not good at being a drama and not good at being a comedy. And it makes me sad because now it's come out that there was a potential Dwight spinoff show that was supposed to happen. I don't know, like a few years back. And it's like, that's money.
If I remember correctly, because obviously I listen to the Office Ladies podcast because I am literally obsessed with that show. But I want to say that the episode where his Aunt Shirley dies, and you like find out he has a brother and a sister and like all these
And they shoot the corpse.
weirdos, and they shoot the corpse. I think that was them introducing a spinoff for him.
Oh, okay. That makes sense because they take over the farm. Oh man, that would have been so
It would have
much
been so good. And I don't even know that they said why it didn't happen, but that was where they were starting that. And I don't know if he would have ended up marrying that young blonde, but I think that that's also part of the reason why they had separated Dwight and Angela too. Or
Yeah.
maybe they still would have ended up together and she would have
eventually come on the
farm
show.
life or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, that was the start of them preparing for his
Wow,
spinoff.
that's wild. And that would have worked too because
I would have watched it.
Moses
Mose.
would have been the best
Well,
part of
the
the
funny
show.
thing about Mose, though, is he, I believe, is the creator of the show, Mike Schur. So I don't think his goal was to ever be in the show all the time.
Yeah.
But he was so
He still could have been
funny.
in the background,
Yeah,
still
of
been
course.
just
Yeah, running like a weirdo and
Yeah.
So
So my thing here is NBC has already greenlit a second season of the paper. Now you and I think we're on episode 5. I think we finished episode 5. There's 5 more.
yeah.
And I feel the same way about it. We're like, if we finish it, we finish it.
If
We
we're
don't.
bored, then
Yeah.
maybe. But I feel like we have so much other good TV to watch that
Yeah.
to waste our time on something that's not funny, I have no desire to do that.
Yeah, that's true. So
But if we need a short show, but then we have our other show with Steve Martin and
Yeah.
Martin Short and Selena Gomez, that's like short, but it's also
funny.
a super funny
Yeah.
show. And again, it's one of those things, and I think that's why the majority of the Office cast doesn't want to do like a reunion show, like a reboot, like a true reboot where they pick back up, because it was just perfection. Like,
Yeah.
don't mess with it. And it went on for what, 9 seasons? You don't need to do anything else. And it's kind of like, for me, I know you don't care about the show. It's kind of like Gilmore Girls. Loved the show. Then they do this 4-part whatever, and it's not good. You're excited because they brought the characters back, but it wasn't anything close.
They didn't bring them back to tell a good story.
Yeah, like I don't ever, like I watched it once and I never wanted to watch it again. So I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to do with the paper, but it's just not good.
Here's something that I'm afraid of. Because one of the things you've said is, you said you can't wait for Elise to be old enough for you to watch the Gilmore Girls with her. Here's what I'm afraid of. Dexter's gone, right? He's taken off. He's got his own life going on. I walk in the door, you and Elise on the couch, both crying. The dog laying next to you. She's not crying, but she's whining.
Yeah.
And that'll be my world in like 4 years.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because I cry a lot. I mean, I've been known to cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. Like, I just cry.
Yeah.
I don't bottle up my emotions. They just pour out of my eyeballs, which I think is a good thing. But Elise has told me, and again, she's only 10, but she does not like to cry. So, like, there are certain shows like Parenthood. I love that show. But it's like This Is Us, but like way better. And I cried every single episode of that show because it was so good. And, she was talking about reading Bridge to Terabithia at school, and she knows it's sad.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to read it, and she doesn't want to watch the movie because it's sad.
Yeah.
So if that is her personality, then, I mean, Gilmore Girls we could do, because that's not really a show that made me cry. So maybe we can do that. But I feel like a lot of the movies and stuff that maybe I would have liked to have watched with her, she'll be like, turn this off. Yeah. It's too sad. I mean, she cried at Charlotte's Web, which I get it. But when we read the book, more so than watching the movie, it destroyed her when Charlotte died. And I get it. It's sad.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I gathered, of course, and I got to bring it up,
I know,
is My Girl. You showed her that movie, and we kind of joked around like, hey, this is the movie that defined our generation, right? Our.
And I probably did watch it around her age.
Yeah. Well, what year did it come out? I think it came out when we were kids.
Like 91?
Because I think it was a little bit, maybe after that. I can't remember, but because I think Home Alone came out in like 90.
Oh, yeah, and he was little.
Yeah. So My Girl.
Look at me.
Dexter.
So I was 10.
Yeah. Good job, Dexter. That's a producer right there.
Yeah.
That's a producer mom right there, looking it up right there. So 1991, so that puts us both.
I was 10.
You were 10, and I was maybe
11 or
10 or 11, either way. We watched the movie, and it's tough.
It is.
And we kind of joked that it was tough, and then, like, I know the scene's coming up. Mm-hmm. I'm in here playing on the computer, and I know it's coming up. And I go into the living room. I try, I'm just peeking around the corner, dead, tears stained. Turn it off. And I was like, she didn't even make it to the funeral,
which is
worse.
Well, and the funny part about it is the other day she was like, sometime, because it's still on the TV, like when we turn on whatever that is,
Amazon.
And she's like, sometimes I think I want to finish it, and I'm like, baby, you don't. That B scene is nothing compared to what comes after. Like, it is so much worse, and it is so much more sad.
Yeah.
She's like, really? I was like, yes.
Yeah. Because a few weeks ago when our puppy died, she had a moment when I told her, but then when she got in the car, she kind of stopped crying, and she's like, well, why? She
went straight to anger.
Yeah, she did.
Which is part of grief.
The reason why I bring that up is just because of the fact that, like, she doesn't like to cry. And maybe she gets that from me. Maybe she's more like me than we both understand.
Yeah.
But she doesn't like.
It's just weird though, because like crying is part of her personality too, like it is mine.
That is true.
She just doesn't like it as much as, like, I'm not gonna say I like crying, but I know it's a release.
Yeah.
And if I'm feeling feelings, I think it's better to let it out than not.
Maybe it's like something that's more natural because she seemed like the other day when I told her she was being mean to Dexter, she immediately started crying. So like maybe it's a self-reflection kind
Yeah.
of cry versus watching a movie.
Like purposely
Yeah,
watching something that's
purposely
sad.
watching or having our sweet puppy pass away, and so I don't know. We'll see. She may sit there and finishing My Girl. It's been probably 2 months since y'all watched it to the point. I mean, she may be able to divorce the feelings that she had at the time and watch it because it's different now. Now all she knows Macaulay Culkin is dead, but I don't know. Seeing her trying to get to him,
Yeah. I'm not going to ever push that.
yeah,
She's not built like I am. I'm a crybaby, but like, I mean, I don't know. And maybe it is different because it is, I think the reason that I don't mind crying is it's just, I know not all girls are like this, so I won't say that, but it's just like a release. Even if you don't know of a particular reason why you might have some feelings, but then it takes like watching this movie or show and you're sobbing. You're
Yeah.
like, huh, this feels pretty good. Or reading a book. I love books that make me cry.
not me.
Now
That's
we know that I'm an unstable person.
Yes, and that's why I love you so much. You're unstable. You take pills that make you angry. So, by the time that this comes out, because we're actually recording 20 before 19, so that way we can at least have
A couple in the bucket.
a couple in the bucket. So this may be already played out. So maybe we can end talking about the recent events that took place with like Charlie Kirk. Like you never watched him the way that I did.
No, and I was just telling our pastor and his wife that honestly, I've probably watched more clips now than I ever watched before.
Yeah.
But I am a person that totally respects what he did, why he did it, like, and all that. But I'm also a person who hates confrontation. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even like to watch you and Fred stream because y'all bicker. And it's like your parents are arguing or something. And it just makes me want to, like, crawl into the corner and hide. And so when these people, when you would turn the videos on, and not just him, there's a couple of other people that you
Yeah.
would watch from time to time, and they would just like, people that know it's going to be on YouTube that are just have their moment. They're going to be as mean and vicious as possible, name call. And again, he's super calm and firm, but the whole talking over, and
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, so for me, like that's where I think that you as a person shine, outside of course being the godly woman and a worship, you have like the empathy, right? We watched his wife give that speech last night and like I mean, you're not connected to them really at all. I watched the guy pretty much on a daily basis. They would release a video. I was watching his content just so I could educate myself further in apologetics and stuff like that. But like just witnessing this woman stand in front of basically the world and through her tears proclaim the gospel and that God is still good is wild to me. Is
2 days after her
Yeah.
husband was assassinated.
It was definitely, and I wouldn't have watched it if you hadn't have told me about it because I had no idea. Because Dexter and I were watching something, and you're like, I'm gonna go in the room and watch this.
I'm like, I'll be crying in our room,
Like I'll be crying in the room, like,
which
"Yeah."
is accurate. I cried while I watched it.
Yeah, but one of the things that the reason why I bring it up because it's relevant currently at this moment is the fact that you have this guy who, and I'm not making this political at all, but I'm going to keep it relevant to us as far as Christians go. You have this guy who would go to college campuses, talk to people that are lost, give them the gospel, and through the gospel, I hope and pray that people's lives were changed, especially after his death, because the same thing happened with Hulk Hogan when Hulk Hogan died. Like all the videos that popped up were all of his recent interviews where he talked about his conversion. But with Charlie, he spent 20 years, however long he did, turning point, just giving the gospel, telling people, hey, you need to repent, all that sort of stuff. So it's relevant to us because for me, I never knew the guy, but I felt so bad, but also felt, I don't know if the word is scared, but I also felt more aware of the fact that like when Jesus tells us the world's going to hate us because it hated him first, like that rings out more so than ever now. So when that happened, I was like, you came in and told me that he had gotten shot, and then I think I had somebody had texted that like somebody shot at him. So I went to Twitter because Twitter is where all of the information flows quickly and like the wild wild west sometimes. And the first video that popped up was a far away, and I watched it not to take part in whatever people were doing, but I was like, there's no way he got shot.
Yeah.
And then there's a far away shot where you don't see any blood or anything like that when he got shot and he fell down. I was like, dude, he really did get shot. It's one of those moments like, is this a video game? Like, did this really happen? And then, of course, because Twitter is an awful place, there's more of an up close one that is like one of those videos that just will never leave your brain. You'll never be able to unsee that specific moment and as that guy transitioned from this world to Jesus. But I think that it just makes us more aware of what is capable.
Yeah. That's why I was crying on whatever day that was. I guess it was Thursday. Is just, obviously when you told me that he died, I cried, and it was just like thinking of his wife. I mean, his parents are obviously still alive. I mean, he was only 31 and his two small kids. And so just, I mean, as a human,
Yeah.
that's devastating. And then all the other horrific stuff that happened this week, the school shooting, there was the girl that was on the bus, and it's just like, it makes you really question humanity.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying. But then on the flip side, I'm a saved person. So I'm like, we're not of this world. This isn't our home. I know where I'm going. And, but I was talking to some friends today. I was like, but the thing for me is like, I know where I'm going, but I worry about my kids.
Yeah.
And I think as a parent, that's just normal. But just, I don't know, when stuff like this happens, you just see how awful people can be. And they seem to be the ones in the echo chambers that you hear over and over, or they're in your feed, which is why one of the posts I did, which I told one of my friends today, I didn't even listen to myself. It's like, stop doom scrolling.
Yeah.
The internet is going to stay as vile as it always has been. People are going to be celebrating this young man that passed away and his family does not have him anymore. And read your Bible. I mean, honestly, that's what Charlie, and again, I don't want to put him on any sort of pedestal. He's not God, but he was an awesome example of being bold for the faith, which most of us, even before this happened, were too scared to do, like he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally went where people hated him, and I think, honestly, a lot of people ended up at least respecting him because of the dialogue that he encouraged. But yeah, I'm like, and so this week I was telling my friend today, I was like, I didn't heed my own advice. I was like, but this week, because that's how people that are continuously watching CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, if you're consistently, constantly being brainwashed and hearing that crap in your head, because the world's an awful place, and they're not going to tell you that somebody saved a puppy today, or, a man jumped in front of a bullet to save this child. They're not going to tell you any of that. They're going to tell you all the awful things because that's just what they do. I don't even know why. And it's the same with social media, which is why I think it's so awful. And again, I'm terrible with it too, but especially with the younger generation, they're scrolling and they see a video of a girl dying on a bus. They're scrolling and they see him being assassinated. It's like, and we wonder why they're depressed and anxious because we didn't have that. And even the short period of time that we have, I'm like, this is why I avoid the news, because I don't want to live scared. And I think if you consume that, you can't help it.
Well, you see what both sides are slowly happening to both sides that live on the news. Both sides are becoming radicalized. But I think that the reason why that I brought up Charlie was because, I think that he, based off of what his wife said about him, he is and was a really good example that guys should start following. And that's kind of like earlier when I joked and I said, I'll learn the guitar. Why not? Why would I not try and learn the guitar, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that I heard that he did was he turned his phone off on Friday and didn't turn it back on until Sunday. So he had complete dedication to his family.
Yeah.
And I think his wife did the same thing too. I mean, their kids were, 1 and 3, so they didn't have that sort of stuff. So I'm thinking hey, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should just turn the phone off. For me as a realtor, maybe turn it on at noon just to see if anybody is text, so that way I can respond from a professional. But then turn it right back off and say, hey, this is downtime. Unplug. Let our brains heal from the nonsense of the world.
Yeah. And you think about it, and that's how people get radicalized.
Yeah.
Is listening to people basically lie. And again, I'm referring to both sides.
Yeah.
Because I'm smart enough to realize that both sides are terrible.
Well, someone close to us, you and me, and you'll know who it is. I'm not going to say anything. Sent a video today of this guy basically calling, and it was a guy that's the conservative that was calling for violence, but not calling for violence. And I'm just like, hey, man, my response to him was hey, this guy will never get off of his ivory tower. He's wanting you to go ruin your life, and that way he can talk about you ruining your life and still make money and still keep his power. And I was like, dude, you need to unplug. You need to get away from that.
Yeah.
So it happens on both sides. But yeah, I really hope, and I've seen it because I do doom scroll, as you know. There are a lot of people out there that are being exposed to the gospel.
Yeah. I've seen so many videos of people that have gone to church for the first time.
Yeah. So.
Because I think when you see, and again, I know Charlie Kirk is not the first, and he definitely won't be the last, of someone that was proclaiming the gospel so boldly. But when you see someone like that get taken down and they're willing to die for their beliefs, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
What have I been doing?
Exactly. I felt the same way.
And why is this person so willing to do this knowing that their life is at risk? But he still shows up. I mean, I told you about that story. It's like there's a hurricane coming. He's like, well, we're renting a car. We're making it to our speaking engagement. It's just like that kind of dedication and passion. And the political part, I don't want to say I could care less, because political stuff, policies affect people. So I get all that. But just the gospel part of it and being that bold in your faith.
No.
Because
there's a level of conviction in him being murdered. And I think that's what, I think there's two things that true, real Christians felt. That is, maybe three, the empathy of the fact that this 31-year-old was taken out. 2, conviction that we weren't out there doing something similar, not to the big crowds or anything like that, but just talking to people within our sphere of influence. And then like the final thing, as far as us, like, we feel that the world definitely is closing in when it comes to Christianity. And it's when you think of Revelation and you think of the Christians being killed for their faith and the world cheering, you're like, how in the world would that ever happen? We got it. We've seen it. We saw it in COVID, right? There were so many pictures and videos from one specific side, but I don't think it's exclusive to their side either. But drawings of people with MAGA hats dying of COVID and all that sort of stuff. And now with the latest thing with Charlie, people celebrating and saying you get what you get and all that sort of stuff, instead of just saying, hey. And there are people, right? There have been people, like if you see the video, I don't know if you saw the video of the last guy who spoke with him. That dude is having a hard time right now because he was having a conversation with Charlie and the dude died right in front of him.
Yeah.
So he's having, and he goes, he's a liberal, and he said, I disagree with him, but like he was a person.
Well, and he also said that like he was literally trying to get a point across about it not being violent.
Yeah.
And then
It happened, yeah.
and another stereotypical shooter.
Yeah.
It just sucks. I hate it so much. But at the same time, it's just one of those things that remind you that the only hope is Jesus.
Yep.
That's it. He's the only one who can turn this around. And, as a human being, you hope that it doesn't get worse, but you also have read the Bible. So
Yeah.
you kind of expect that it will, but still hope that Jesus will come back before it continues to happen like this.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're already at a point where if you truly think about it, you're not safe anywhere anymore.
Right.
School, church, none of those places. So just I don't know. All I can hope and pray is that this woke a lot of people up, especially the people, and again, we're all guilty of not doing everything that we're supposed to do, but especially lukewarm people that are like, Jesus is cool. But, I kind of talk to him just when something's going wrong. And it either completely pushes them out because they're just scared and they cower. And then the other thing that you hope is these people are like, oh, you know what? I need to get serious. Like, I need to get off the fence. This is life or death, because it is. It's about eternity. So.
True. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up there at the end, just because it was relevant, and I think it affected every real true Christian. There are people out there that I've seen that proclaim Christ, but defend him being murdered, which is weird.
Yeah.
But
I've seen it all over. It's
Yeah.
insane to me.
But yeah, I just want to bring that up. I didn't want to end it too much on a down portion, but I at least wanted to bring it up because it was relevant. But we're coming to the end of the podcast. What number should you come back on?
I would say, I don't know, maybe like 50 or like 100.
100 seems so far away to have you back.
I would say 40. You could just have me every 20.
I
But that seems too soon.
Yeah, I was actually thinking when you said 50, I was thinking the same thing. So that way,
Like halfway to 100.
yeah, like at 50, then we do this again, and then at 100, we do it again. But all those numbers seem so far away, and we'll see what God uses this for, and how many people I can get to come on this crazy show.
Yeah. You definitely need more women on here.
Yeah, I know. I've asked your friend Sheila, and I don't know if you followed up with her.
I haven't followed
And
up
then
with her.
in
I can ask her.
October, we're going to have Miriam.
That'll be awesome.
I think that'll be great. I would love to have her husband Keith on the show, because I know that he has opened up a little bit about his life to the men of the group. So God's taken him out of some crazy things. So I'd love to talk to him. So I'm not opposed to having women on the show. It's just it's easier.
Well, it's easier to not be weird and asking people's wives to come on the
Yeah.
show or whatever.
Well, the
But
thing is, it's like I thought about it. We have Dexter, who is the producer over here, right? He's the producer, and then I was thinking like you could be executive producer, like you could get the guest lined up to show up to be here, especially if they're your friends, right? Because like having you know. I'm not saying I want this person, but like having like one of the Tiffany's show up, like
oh yeah,
I don't like one of the Tiffany's. I photographed their funeral, right? And so the one that didn't want kids that has like a ton of kids
oh
now,
yeah.
yeah, I photographed their funeral, not their funeral, their wedding.
Oh my gosh, I was like, what funeral
Oh,
are you
wait,
talking about?
sorry, wedding, same thing,
Yes.
same thing. Funeral, wedding, same thing. But no, but
Those aren't interchangeable.
remember, I
For some people, they
I
are.
photographed it, right? Didn't I? I'm pretty sure I did.
Maybe you videoed it.
Maybe I videoed it, but I did something.
I
for
remember
them.
you being there.
Yeah, and because they came busting out with dogs and sparklers or something like that, but yeah, having somebody like that, you could make those calls because I can't.
Yeah.
Hey, the only reason I asked Sheila was because you were in the room.
And she's here, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I would never message her and be like, "Hey, Sheila,
Want to come over?
what are you doing? You want to come over and talk to me?" That'd be so weird.
Yeah.
But just stuff like that. But and then Elise can just maybe she can start doing the announcements. Just welcome to Aaron Ask America.
Oh my
So we
gosh,
get the
she
whole
would love
entire
that
family,
so much.
to get the whole entire family involved. Mm-hmm. We got him, that's the producer. You, the executive producer, and Elise as like the I don't know what would you call that, like host or speaker or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Instead of me doing you have Elise do it, and then it comes to us.
Yeah.
Get the whole family involved since she wants to create now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. I want our family to be creative.
Yeah.
You want our family to be a traveling, singing gospel band. I just want us to create, which is
I have a
kind of the
dream
same
of
thing.
us being the sound of music, except not running from Nazis.
Yes. and me not so fast. But as you know, I always ask my guest for the final moments. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but the camera's yours. You can give whatever phenomenal advice.
I would say that just after this week, that I would tell everyone to just silence all the noise from social media, the news, all of it. And if you're a Christian, like pursue that relationship with the Lord, read your Bible, pray, worship. I would say if you don't know Jesus, you really, really should. But be honest. All the troubles of the world don't magically go away, but there is this, and I've been pretty sad and upset and just awful things happen around me, but there's still this just peace that you can't explain. And it's just really awesome. And it honestly makes me sad that everyone doesn't have that because it's a free gift, So that's what I would encourage everyone to do this upcoming week and this weekend. And if you don't go to church, even though I know that this isn't like airing today, but if you don't go to church or if it's been a while, go find one. I don't think you'll regret it.
Amen. Godly wisdom from a godly woman. She's classy, she's beautiful, and guys, she's mine. For 20 years. Going on 20, well, I guess 21 years. We dated a year before we got married.
Yep.
So for 21 years, you've been mine.
Yep.
And
All of that's
all that-
mine.
all that. All right, well, Kissy Renee, you're beautiful. I love you.
Love you.
I thank you for coming on the show again. And then maybe we'll shoot for 50. And then we'll be the big 5-0. And then once we hit 100, we'll have a huge celebration where you just host the show from that point on. I feel like
We'll
you-
switch places like Ryan and Haley.
But with that being said, nope, not going to do it. Like, subscribe, share, If you live in the DFW area, email me. It's in the bio. You can click on it and be a guest on the show. But with that being said, this has been Aaron Ask America. Thanks for watching.
Aaron Ask America, we're talking real life. Truth, love, and struggle, no filters, no hype. From the heart of the people to the soul of the land, he's asking the questions you'll understand. Aaron Ask America.